Okay. Good morning, everyone. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Fantastic. And you can see the slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you for confirming. And I want to first of all thank everyone for coming around, joining this session. This is a briefing or workshop on lean and agile project management, which is part of the program by Dialogic Solutions Ltd on their design and make challenge. So I have the privilege to facilitate the workshop today. So I'm just a facilitator of the workshop. And to understand why I'm facilitating this workshop, I would like to introduce myself in terms of my education and work experience. My secondary school was at Government Secondary School Afikpo, Ebonyi State. I went on to study polymer and textile engineering at Federal University of Technology, Owerri. And I was privileged to get Ebonyi State overseas scholarship. And I studied Masters in Manufacturing Systems Engineering at the University of Warwick. After that, I had the privilege again to get PTDF PhD scholarship that took me to the University of Manchester, where I studied PhD in mechanical engineering. On my work experience, after my first degree, I worked with Fidelity Bank PLC. I worked at Abakaliki branch and the Afikpo branch. After my master's, I joined Alex Chukwuma Federal University, and I left there as lecturer 2 in the Department of Chemical and Petroleum Engineering. So during my PhD at the University of Manchester, I was a graduate teaching assistant. And currently, I work with Loughborough University, where I am the program director or program leader of engineering management. My other roles include Deputy Associate Dean of Equity, Diversity and Inclusion, and also the chair of Race, Ethnicity and Cultural Heritage Staff Network in the university. So it's my pleasure to welcome you to this workshop, and I would want you to relax and feel free. So this is an arena of freedom. It's an arena of creativity. So don't censor yourself. I want you to be very free and feel free to contribute to whatever we are discussing. It's a learning platform, it's a learning opportunity for all of us. So I want to learn from you. As you know, Design and Make Challenge is a continental-wide challenge. What that means is that Design and Make was designed to call on all STEM undergraduates and graduates from any African university, polytechnic, college. So it's open to all Africans. And it is about inspiring young Africans to understand how STEM drive industrialization, how STEM can help Africa to realize the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2030. So it's a huge opportunity which has been made possible by sponsors. Initially, students and participants like you were supposed to pay money. However, when sponsors stepped in, they paid for you to participate in this program free of charge. So this is an opportunity to recognize them, Ebonyi State Government, Linus Ukole Foundation, Caring Hearts, NatQuest Limited, Green STEM Educational and Charitable Foundation, Oniche Education Foundation, Carbon Europa, Dialogic Engineering, Prime Shaft Limited, Ijoma Nwiteze, Francis Ogbonnaya, Engineer Rex Ojo Ogbonnaya, and Engineer Ugu Chikwado Michael. All these people paid for the sponsorship, so that you can participate. So I don't want you to think that it did not cost you anything. Rather, I would like you to think that somebody paid for you to participate. So the presentation today is going to cover what a project is. We need to understand what a project is, and we'll discuss opportunities in project management. Regardless of your degree, you need project management skills to realize objectives. So we will also discuss Questelligence theory and domain-based systems thinking, lean thinking, agile methodology, plan, design, actually act and control. And I will give you more briefings on the design and make challenge, and you have the opportunity to ask your questions. What is a project? A project is a temporary endeavor undertaking to create unique product. Yes, please. Okay. Please mute
I've
yourself.
given up. I have given her.
Please
I
mute
have
yourself.
given her. Oh, Jesus.
Can you still hear me?
Yes,
Can you
we
still
can hear
hear
you.
me?
Yes, we can. Yes, continue, sir.
Okay. So, if at any point you can't hear me, please let me know. Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
That's okay, sir.
Fantastic.
Noted.
Fantastic. Yeah. So we are going to start from a point of understanding what a project is. And if it is in the Nigerian parlance, they will say it will shock you. It will shock you that you are already doing projects. Okay? It will shock you that you're already doing projects. It's just that you've not formalized, you may not have formalized that understanding that you are doing projects. So a project is any temporary endeavor you undertake to create a product, service, or a result. I give you an example. For you to rent a house and move into it is a project. Okay? So at school, they give you projects. So anything that you've not done before that you want to do to create a result or to create a product or to create a service is a project. So I want you from today to always understand that so that you will apply project management skills to make it more efficient. So project management is therefore the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet project requirements and outcomes. So there are things required and there are outcomes or results required. So you are going to use your skills, your knowledge, your tools to create those outcomes. Okay. So when we talk about engineering projects, which is the type of project you are going to do, all the projects you're going to do they are all engineering projects. So you are trying to use knowledge, skills, and this type of knowledge are technical knowledge gained from science, mathematics, and the use of technology. So you use it to create products, services, or tools. Okay. So you are a multidisciplinary team, which means that you are coming from different backgrounds. Some of you have, yes, please, Oti Benedict, please.
You can't see your screen. You can't see your screen.
Oh, you can't see it again? Oh, sorry about that. Thank you for that. Please, remember what I said. This is an arena of freedom. When things are not right, you need to say it, okay? You need to speak up. That's part of the training. You don't just keep quiet, but you be polite, but say things if they are not going on. Is that okay? Don't feel that I don't want to offend somebody. I don't want to say stupid things. So there are no stupid things here. All we have are creative ideas, which we can take. Another person can add to it. Another person can modify it. We will achieve objective. You will see why that type of mindset is very important in the project we are going to do. Because there are no single solutions to a problem. We only have optimal solutions. Is that okay? So I want to thank you and give you kudos, Benedict, for speaking up. Thank you very much. So I'm going to share my slide one more time. Can you see it now?
Yes, we can see it now.
Fantastic. So I've said a project is a temporary endeavor you undertake to create a new product, service, or result. And project management is application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to realize those product, services, or results. Okay. However, engineering project is specific because you have to apply technical knowledge to achieve it. And I say that what you have are technical problems, and you are going to use technical skills, knowledge, tools, and techniques to realize the results or the prototypes or outputs. Okay. So you can consider a program is a collection of projects. Okay. Think about your degree. Your degree, that's why you call it degree program. So you have different projects, year 1, year 2, year 3, different activities. At the end of the day, you do your final year project. So a project, if you have too many 2 or 3 projects that you can share resources together, that can work together, you can group them together and call it a program. So you still use the same knowledge, tools, and technique to organize them and work collaboratively to achieve them. Okay, a portfolio is a collection of programs and projects. So that's why you now have portfolio. So you see from projects, collection of projects, you have programs, collection of programs, you have portfolio. So a project manager is now a person who applies knowledge, skills, and techniques to realize results. Okay. So globally, project management is a valuable skill across the globe. And part of what I intend to achieve in this workshop is to increase your awareness that these are where you can also find opportunities. You can create opportunities. Remember what I said. There are projects in accounting, engineering, medical science projects. So anytime you want to realize a new solution, that's project. So regardless of your degree, you can tilt towards project management because that's where innovation, creativity, problem solving, that's the kind of things you are going to be doing. That is if you like that kind of thinking or a way of doing things. Some people prefer operations, something that is very stable. Just give them instruction. They will do it perfectly and excellently. That's also fine. They're also needed in organization. But some people, they are very innovative. They're always creating new things, trying to solve new problems and all of that. Within your discipline, you don't need to leave your discipline. Within your discipline, you can develop project management skills. And I can tell you that people who solve problems are paid more. Your value in any organization is a function of the problems you are solving for that organization. And the people they will sack last in any organization are people that are contributing, people that are solving problems for that organization. So always think of how you can create solutions, how you can contribute to the objective and missions and visions and strategy of any organization, or even wherever you are. It may not just be organization. You think about your associations, whether religious, community. Think of those people that are very valuable. They are the people providing solution. They are people supporting the objectives of the organization. So it is very important you bear that in mind. There are so many people needed for project management in different industries. And as you continue to grow, I want you to keep your eye on that. There are different certifications you can do as if you're interested in project management. An example, depending on your degree or depending on your level of experience, but I just want you to know that there are different project management roles out there. And the beautiful thing is that as Nigeria is developing, you can even stay in Nigeria and work anywhere across the globe with that your project management skill. There was a recent report by the Institution of Engineering and Technology, and they noticed that there are some skills that are lacking when employers want to employ. And you can see that in the next 5 years, that some of the skills that are valuable, leadership skills, technical skills that has to do with sustainability, okay, digital skills, AI, data analytics, automation, cybersecurity, technical skills, how to implement change. And that's where project management falls into. Solving complex problems. That's also another aspect of project management. Innovation and innovative thinking. That's also another aspect of project management. You can see agile mindset. That's another aspect of project management. Whole systems thinking. That's another aspect of project management, because project helps you to solve problem in an integrated form. Just think about simple solutions. I won't call it simple, but the solutions you have, they may look simple, but offering solution, the process of realizing the solution is a very complicated process. And by the time you trigger your systems dynamic, as in how are you going to solve the problem, that's when you now know that what you are dealing with is not as simple as the short title. Okay, so let's talk of Project Management Institute project management principles. Okay, so there's an institute called Project Management Institute. Very resourceful. You can get loads of resources from them. So they have project management principles, and 12 of them based on the Project Management Book of Knowledge, 7th edition. You have to be diligent, respectful, caring, steward, create collaborative team environments, effectively engage with stakeholders, focus on value, recognize, evaluate, and respond to systems interaction. That's thinking in systems, and demonstrate leadership behaviors, tailor your result based on context, build quality into your processes and deliverables, navigate complexity, optimize risk responses, embrace adaptability and resilience, enable change to achieve envisioned future state. You see, all these principles, you can see that each of them is somehow abstract. Okay. And you need to learn how to think in a systematic way. You need to learn how to apply the principle. And I will take one as an example. Focus on value. You see, what customers pay for is value. Customers don't just buy products because they like you, or because you are from their place, or because you are from their country, or no. Customers pay for value. What that means that if you create a valuable product, people don't need to come from your place. They don't need to know you. They don't even need to know who created the product. They will pay to use that product. So if you focus on value, you will make impact. And what is value? Value is anything that is of worth. And it doesn't need to be complicated. In fact, you just have to simplify things. I'll give you an example. Can somebody tell me the value of a pen? What is the value of a pen? I also like interaction. Just what do you think is the value of a pen?
Okay, can everyone hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay, I think one of the values is it helps for documentation.
Good. Thank you very much. Okay. The value of a pen is to write. Okay. Is to write things down. That's the value of a pen. So if that is the value of a pen, you don't need to over-engineer a pen. That is why Biro is very simple. All you need is to design something that will hold ink and hold it in a sustainable way so that it will not be spilling over, and it should be able to be held and used to write something. So your engineering design is just to simplify it that way. There's no need to make a bilo as big as a box or to have a very big cover for it. So the value of a pen is to write. So if you can write with it, that's it. Okay. Now, what is the value of a car? What is the value of a car?
It makes transportation easy. That's the value it adds.
Okay, break it down further. Transportation.
Yes.
Is the value of a car is to move you from one point to another, is that not?
It is.
Yeah, which is the same thing as transportation. So that's one of the things I want us to be doing in this hour in Lean and Agile is to define something define it as if you are talking to a 5-year-old. Break it down, keep breaking it down until you get to the minutest form of the idea. Okay, thank you so much for that idea. It's for transportation. Now,
Sorry, sir. I have something to
yes,
add.
please. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. In addition, I think car also helps us, but it also helps save energy. Like most times, the distance to cover consumes a lot of energy, but with a car, it should be easier and it also saves time.
Okay, that's it. So it saves time of course, we are scientists here. We know the formula for speed. What is speed? Speed is what? Distance over time.
Yes.
So, yeah, so with speed being distance over time, it means that you can have a device that can cover higher distance in a shorter time. That's why if you are traveling by leg, it's not the same thing as traveling by motorcycle or car or jet. So we have devised, human beings have devised different devices that will meet different objectives. So that's a very fantastic contribution, and I appreciate that. So what I've done is to take one of these principles for discussion. So if you go through all of them, they mean something very, very deep. Okay. And I will leave you to that to read it up. In terms of projects, there's a principle called, there's something developed by United States military, and it's called VUCA. VUCA is volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And when you want to engage in a project, you may be doing the project in an unpredictable environment or situations. So, navigating that volatility, ambiguity, and uncertainty is part of the skills you need to achieve a project. And because we have different ways of implementing projects, we have predictive. So when the environment is stable, I can go from point A to point B to point C to point D. You can use predictive because you can predict the environment. Okay, so because you are following a sequence sharing, that's a waterfall method project management approach. Okay, so you will see more examples of that. But when the environment is very, very uncertain, very volatile, and all of that, you have to use agile methodology so that you can be responsive and adaptive. And that is the method you are going to use, because you can see that it's uncertain how you people are going to achieve this project. It's complicated how you are going to be communicating. It's ambiguous, the objective, because you've just been given a brief and you've been asked to go and agree and work together as a team. You've not met each other. You don't know each other, and you've been given a timeline. So all of you need to work in an agile way for you to realize results. Okay, so we also have hybrid approach where you combine a little bit of agile and a little bit of waterfall, or a little bit of predictive approach and a little bit of adaptive approach. Okay, so since 2010, I've been working on a concept which I now call co-intelligence theory and domain-based systems thinking. So can I ask you, what is the difference between thinking systemically and thinking systematically? Systems and systemic, systems and systematic. So can we clarify that, because it's very, very important and very fundamental. So what is the difference between thinking in systems or systemically and thinking systematically? Yeah. Any idea? Okay, what is a system?
A system is just a combination of different devices put together.
You have to do what?
To get a result or...
Fantastic. Fantastic. I wanted you to take it to the end. So a system is an integration of different components that will work together to achieve an output. Okay, that's a perfect answer. I will give you 90% for that definition. Do you want to say something, OS?
Yes. So
Yeah, go
thinking
ahead.
systemic involves looking at the whole process.
Yeah.
how does one process affect the other? Why thinking systematically, looking at it step by step, looking at the relation, how
Fantastic.
this one affects the other. Yeah, step by step. Yes, thank you.
Fantastic. So systematic is about being methodical from one step to another step. And that is, who knows how to eat an elephant? How do we eat an elephant? Do you have any idea how we can eat an elephant? Okay. I will tell you how. You eat an elephant by biting it bit by bit. Okay, if you are able to eat it bit by bit, you end up consuming an elephant. Okay, do you know how you can cover 1,000 miles by foot? A step at a time. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that anytime you face complex problem, something that is very overwhelming, don't panic. Don't panic. Don't worry. Just calm down and understand the entire system. What are the components of this problem? That's one. Two, how do I start solving the problem step by step? That's why if you want to build a house, you first of all lay the foundation. You then start erecting the columns and all the columns. And then you start fixing. You see, building a house, if you look at the pattern of building a house, you see that it is very, very, very systematic. And I know I'm talking to most of us are Nigerians, and we are religious people. Okay, you see, when God created the world, you go and look at Genesis. God thinks in systems, and God is very systematic. He said the first day he created the structure, heaven and earth. And then he first of all created plants. Because you see, plant photosynthesis, he created light before creating a plant. Okay, so you see, so that light will now feed animals. And you look at ecosystems, you see that plant, literally, light is what is holding the entire ecosystem. Because the plant, animals feed on plant, and lower animals feed on higher animals feed on lower animals, and animals also feed on other organisms, drink water, and all of that. So you see that what is holding the entire earth is systems thinking, and it was realized from biblical perspective through systematic thinking. So the point here is that anytime you are faced with something that you don't know how to start, don't worry, calm down, understand the components, how they integrate together, and start navigating your solution. Have an objective. What do you want from this solution? And then follow it step by step. You will get a solution. So this is a theory that I've been developing. I've been using it. I've been working on it. In fact, on Monday, I'm going to teach an MSc a module, and that MSc module is titled Project Management for Engineers. And I used this framework to design the module. So the first lecture is going to be, one of the lectures is going to be objective of project management. Another one is going to be people domain of project management, process domain of project management, time domain of project management. So that's the way it was structured. And why am I doing this? Is because of my theory, which says that human beings think in systems. That's one. Two, that human beings think in domains. The way our mind had been structured, we've been told that there are categories. Okay. Now, thinking is a cognitive process of permutation and combination. You remember a few minutes ago, I told you that the PMI principles, they are meaningless if somebody cannot think. It is through thinking that you combine components to create meaning. So you use thinking to create. You can also use thinking process to analyze, and you can reflect. So what I'm trying to say is that the thinking in systems and thinking in domain is a powerful way to create things and analyze things. So I have in this theory, I have 7 domains. I have the objective domain. I remember in the Bible, if you notice, when Jesus meets somebody, the question is always, what do you want? Jesus is omniscient, but he doesn't solve your problems for you. He will ask you, what do you want? That is objective domain. And that has to do with object. It could be object or objective. The first thing you should always do is to ask yourself, what do I want? What is it that I am trying to do? What objective am I pursuing? And that objective should be valuable so that it will be worth your effort, your time, and your resources. If it is not worth it, there is no need. You may do something because of the intrinsic value, not because of the explicit value, which means that you are doing something because it will lead you to achieve other objectives. That's fine. A typical example is volunteering. I encourage young people to volunteer. When you volunteer, people will be laughing at you. They will say you are wasting your time. But they are the ones that don't understand what you are doing. Because when you volunteer, whether in your church, in your community, or anywhere you are developing skills that cannot be taught in the class. You are learning how to talk, you are speak, you are learning how to solve problems, you are learning how to work in a team, you are learning how to, be responsible, accountable, manage your time, organize. So when you now work in a formal organization, you transfer these skills and people will be saying, oh, this person is wonderful. But only those who really understand, we understand that you developed the skills from a different environment. So people domain, organizations, people that are involved in achieving objectives. Stakeholders in project management are people that your project will affect, or people that need to enable your project. The sponsors, the government, the team members, the society where you are going to develop the project. The place domain. You are going to work in a virtual environment, which means that you are going to be chatting on WhatsApp, Teams, and other ecosystems. You can choose to create a Google meeting if you want, or WhatsApp conference. So this is a virtual environment. So you don't need to travel to Ebonyi State or Lagos State or Abuja. So we are also teaching you digital skills by this program. So realizing results, realizing objectives, realizing anything can no longer be restricted to physical. People in the physical can work collaboratively with people online or in a virtual environment to achieve results. And this is why I've always argued that the government of Nigeria doesn't need all its citizens to come back and stay in Nigeria for Nigeria to be great, or for Nigeria to work together to make it great. All they need to do is to create a system that integrates all the resources of Nigeria, whether it is human resources within or outside, or natural resources within or outside, and see how we can integrate all these systems to pursue objective. Take, for instance, we want to operationalize sustainable development goal and have a good education, healthcare, good environment, good justice systems. Why not? This thing can be done. So the time domain, notion of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. The process domain, how do you transform things from one form to the other? What are the sequences of change in what you are trying to do? How do you control the process of evolution? That has to do with the process. And then the reason domain, the logical and critical aspect of thinking. Why is one bigger than the other? Why is the other one better than the other? That's reasoning when you are doing that. And you use rules, laws, and theories and models to take that decision. Specific has to do with selecting one thing out of many things, one place out of many places, one person out of many places. I wrote a book, Domain-Based Systems and Systematic Thinking. And you know what? I'm going to give it to you people free. It's £20 on Amazon. but I'm going to give all of you, those people who are involved in Design and Make Challenge, I'm going to give you the PDF for free. Don't forget that Dialogic was founded by 22 PhD students, which you've read several times. And part of what we are doing is to work with young people who are interested in causing change, who are interested in contributing to developing Nigeria, Africa, and the world, anywhere they are. And I can tell you that if you are ready and you are ready to launch out, you will get enormous support from people that you may not even know. Okay. Sustainable development goal. When we talk about sustainability, sustainability has to do with how do we use the resources of today as responsible as possible so that the future generation will have the opportunity to enjoy those resources, whether it is natural resources or human resources. Okay. And the sustainability, there are 4 dimensions of sustainability. The first one is technical or technological. The next one is environmental. The next one is social and economic. So when you are designing a solution, and this is where I want you to pay attention to, that project all of you are going to work on, I want you to think about the sustainability aspect of it. It is not just about designing a device. Is it going to be realistic? Okay, is it going to be realistic in the environment you are designing it for? Is it going to pollute the environment? Is it going to protect the environment? Is it going to cause problems socially? Is it going to preserve social cohesion? Can people afford it? The economics of your solution, can people afford it? Can people continue to maintain it? You know, in Nigeria, where we can, politicians just do projects, they can buy tractors and then call for launching, and we cut the ribbon, and 2 months later, the tractors are not working. Do you know why? Because there is no sustainability in those projects. Okay, if there were sustainability, there should be maintenance. Okay, you say, oh, if this device break down, part of the program is to have people that will maintain it. So instead of thinking in projects, most of the problems in Nigeria or Africa should be considered as programs. Another example is, think of solar power technologies. By now, we should be talking more of developing skills to maintain solar power technologies, such that when it breaks down, we have people around who can fix it. So sustainable development goals, there are 17 of them. And if you look at them critically, you now see that you need project management skills to implement it anywhere in the world, because it is projects that transforms vision, mission, and strategy into tangible product, services, and value. That transition between what you have in your ideas, your thoughts, your thinking, and how you now experience it or others experience it, the bridge is project management thinking. It is about how you pull resources together to translate that vision in your mind into a product that people can be using or service that people can be experiencing. I want us to take just few and then we'll move on. Let's think about quality education. Can you give me just 2 examples of projects that you can implement under quality education? Don't forget that you must think from the point of value. You now know what a project is. What can we do to improve quality education? That has to do with, and we are going to do it by using project management approach. It's called projectification. You use project to create change. You use project to realize objectives. So I will allow somebody to contribute before we proceed. 2 projects. You can give one, another person can give another one. Yeah.
Sir, can you repeat the question? Let me get the question.
Okay, so we have 17 sustainable development goals. because of our time, we will not go through it one by one. The first one is no poverty. You can read about sustainable development goals, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry innovation and infrastructure, reducing inequalities, sustainable cities and communities. So these are different domains of development. Okay. Now, for you to really make this something relatable, something valuable to the members of the community, you need to think in terms of projects. Okay. You need to implement, you need to formulate a vision and then realize it in terms of project. I will give you an example using affordable and clean energy. And then I will now expect you to use that approach to give me a project under SDG 4, which is quality education. Under SDG 7, which is affordable and clean energy. One project we can do is installing solar power technologies in our schools and hospitals. And the essence of that is that solar power technologies will harness solar energy in Nigeria to support the operations of hospitals and schools. And how can you do that? Imagine now that all states in Nigeria and federal government mandate that every new building in Nigeria must have solar energy. Let's forget about the ones that have been built, but every contract going forward must have solar energy. It's going to initiate change, won't it? It's going to initiate change. So,
yes.
So there must be a systematic way of realizing objective, and project is one of those systematic way of realizing objective. So give me an example of a project we can execute under quality to realize quality education.
And in the project, I think that can help in that quality education, implementing solar system in our different laboratories can help us achieve quality education in terms of our practicals, where you can see it.
Fantastic.
How it is being done, and not the one you've been told since or the one you read from a textbook, but you seeing it physically can help enhance your brain of thinking towards that project.
Fantastic. That's a very powerful project. What you've done is you're saying not just doing it in schools, but targeting labs, STEM.
Yes.
Okay, we have a situation where students will now have access to computer. You see, without electricity, you won't do computer. Without electricity, there won't be light, or you won't freeze something. So that's a very powerful project targeting our labs. Imagine that federal government say, okay, in the next 2 years, all secondary schools in Nigeria, whether private or public, we have solar energy in their labs. And let's say they take 10 billion and do it. What do you think that it will impact on the quality of STEM education in Nigeria? It's going to go up. It will go up. So thank you so much for that, Chinyere. Idika, please go ahead.
Okay. I will suggest if we go with this employ the teachers in our secondary primary school must be tech inclined.
Okay.
In that case, one of the major criteria employing or making them employable for them to be teachers in both primary and secondary. Because the challenge we are having now is that most of the teachers we have now, they are not tech inclined.
Okay.
So
And I want to say something concerning the quality education aspect also, sir.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. And after you, I will go to Chukwuma.
On how to implement the project to implement in order to make education more quality than ever. And in a situation whereby excursion can also help to improve quality education, whereby those things that are not that you cannot see in your school, that you've not been used to in your school, maybe they are not around your school premises, and you can see other schools having it and making use of it. I think like excursion, going to that different environment, meeting people and making use of that machine can help also build education.
God bless you, my sister. You see, next week, I'll be taking undergraduate students, master students to BMW factory in Oxford. I just want to say that to say, yes, I agree with you. So one of the things, if we start thinking in systems, we will now seeing how the agricultural farm just close by a secondary school is a resources for students to go and see how it's done. We now start taking some of our students to Innocent to go and see how cars are manufactured. So the quality education is not just about, telling students that they have to be solving maths from morning to night. They can even go and study how the cultural dynamics in Africa. People will study culture, we study our environment, we study everything. We now begin to synthesize everything. That's quality education. It's not just about learning how to speak English and French or German. So I completely agree with that, Chinyenye, and I want to appreciate your contributions. And let me go to Chukwuma, and because of our time, I would say, this discussion is something that we can have throughout today. But because of our time, I will just take one other thing. There will be another opportunity for people to contribute. I will just take Idika, and Idika has contributed. Okay, I will just take Chukwuma, and then we'll move forward to other slides. There are opportunities to contribute. Please bear with me. Or if you can contribute within a minute, we can just do it. Okay, I'll give you a minute to contribute. Emeka, go ahead.
Okay, I want to say another thing regarding the quality education.
Yeah.
I think another project is to organize a digital literacy for teachers, because there is no education without the people who already know to teach. And if those people don't know what to teach, there is a very big problem. Now, digital literacy, for example, people that take tech-related courses, if they do not know it in a certain level, you see, they will not know as much to teach other students. So especially the teachers, they need to be literate digitally for them to help with the education. That's it.
Okay. Emeka, thank you very much. You see, Emeka, let's think in systems from what you just said. So you've talked about the people domain. It's correct. It's absolutely correct. Now, let's assume that we take 1 million teachers and train them on digital technology, AI, computing, and all of that. And they went back to their schools and there's no electricity. There are no computers. What is going to happen? Gone. The training is meaningless. So I completely agree with you. The component that we need to think in systems when we want to solve a problem. And thinking in systems is understanding that what we do as individuals could impact others, could impact our environment, could impact the society, could impact the organization we work in. And we begin to measure our actions to be constructive, that we leave positive impact. I completely agree with you. So training the teachers to have digital skills is the first step to embed digital knowledge in our educational system, because the teachers are the ones that will teach. But before that, if we are to be systematic, we need to first of all go and install sustainable energy, which is solar energy, and computers and internet. Then we will now come up and train the teachers, and then we will not stop there. we now follow it up with measurement. How do we know that the teachers are using it? How do we know that the students are learning it? We start probably organizing monitoring and supervisions and control and competitions. And before you know it, and projects, and before you know it, the ecosystem on its own will start evolving. Like I said, if we spend today discussing these fantastic ideas, but we may not finish. So please indulge me to proceed to the next slide.
Okay, sure.
So this is the project. Each of you is going to work in one of these. And this is what I mean that it's just very simple. So there's no solution. So you are going to create the solution using systems thinking and systematic thinking. So you first of all say, okay, what fruit juice are powered by solar technology? There's no description. So you are going to express yourself. You design it. You say, okay, how do we want it to be? What should this fruit juicer, what is the value is going to develop? Because the value will now help you to design. So who are going to use it? Who is going to use it? Is it that person in the village? Is it that person in the city? Is it an old person? Is it a young person? So who is going to use it? So these are the questions you think in domains. Okay, the place domain, the time domain, for instance, the time domain, fruit is not, some fruits are seasonal. Okay, so when mango is mature, you see the rate at which it falls down may increase. At times it's not available. So how do you load it? The loading, how do we design a system such that it can juice more when we have more? I'm just giving you an instance. Scooter. Okay, when you're designing scooter, you think about the road. Are you designing for a tarred road, or you are designing for a dusty road? If you design a scooter that can run on dust, because you believe that most roads in Nigeria are not tarred, that you have more customers or you have more people using it or having access to it, or gravel land, or you can say, yeah, let's just design for people in the city, people in town, that you will have the freedom to do that. Reading lamp, who are you designing for? Is it people at home or students? You have the freedom to design, but you now say, okay, how do they charge it? Are they going to decouple the charging system, put it under the solar outside? When it is charged, they'll bring it in. How do you couple the system so that students can use it sustainably to read at school? Internet of Things device that can measure electricity consumption. This is more of industrial device. Okay. If we have if we say, okay, in our village now we are going to install solar energy, and we are going to use it as a community. So if you design Internet of Things that can measure what each family is using, and at the end of the day, at the end of the month, everybody will pay based on their usage. It's going to be very beautiful, because people can come together, or even in the market, they can come together and buy solar panel because it's very costly, and then share the cost based on usage. Okay, intelligent solar tracker, okay, for power technology, power generation. So these are some of the projects, and they are very, very interesting. And I want you to feel very, very free to work as a team to develop something. I want to give you an example using a project one of my students did here in Loughborough University. So one of my students came to me and said, actually, in my house, we have a very beautiful garden, and we tend to put bird seed, but I noticed that squirrels are always eating from the bird seed. He said that he wants to develop a device that can stop squirrels from feeding from the device, but allows bird to feed from the device. That was what he wanted to do. And he went ahead I supported him, he went ahead to design, and at the end of the day, he prototyped this. So you see, this is a system, and he's using Hooke's law, such that when a weight that is bigger than that of a bird, hangs on the device, it will close up the holes, feeding holes. So this may look simple, but the process of developing it is not easy. You need to use science, you need to use physics, manufacturing, and all of that. Let's go to lean methodology. What is lean? Lean manufacturing was developed in Japan and popularized by Toyota, the car manufacturer. And in Toyota production system, they identify 8 major wastes. And I want you to see this as a way of being efficient and effective, even at a personal level. So in that manufacturing system, what they did was they said, we need to identify all the wastes in this our manufacturing. What is a waste? A waste is anything that the customer is not ready to pay for is a waste. Don't forget what we said before, that the essence of a product or service is to create value, and customers will pay for value and nothing more. So if you are able to identify what the customer is ready to pay for, you can then remove every other thing the customer is not ready to pay for. If you do that, your cost of product will reduce and the satisfaction for the customer will increase. So lean thinking is about stripping out everything that the customer will not value and allowing only what the customer values to remain. So what are those things that the operation or the customer does value? Let's look at it from the perspective of manufacturing. As a manufacturer, when you overproduce, that's a waste. When you overproduce, it's a waste. Why is it a waste? Because you are producing more than the customer wants, and you are tying down your inventory. So if you have a system that can allow you to produce exactly what the customer wants, you will not engage your labor, money, and everything producing what you cannot sell to generate revenue. Waiting. Anytime you design a system and people are waiting, is a waste. Okay, is a waste. So there should be no waiting in any process. They should, when you move things from one place to another, move it back, forward, and all of that, you are generating waste. When you keep more inventories than you need, you are generating waste. Motion, moving up and down, hand, and all of that without performing valuable tasks is waste. Excess processing, over-engineering, okay, defects in the product, customers will reject it and you throw it away. So all these things, anything that delays the flow of materials and information or that will create defects and deficiencies in processes and products, those are things you have to remove. If you remove all of them, the remaining will be valuable. So in this your project, I want you to think in terms of a very simple process, which is you are going to plan. So the first thing you do as a team is to say, what are our objectives? What do we want to do? These products, this is our project. What is it that we should target? You design it, you plan your resources. Planning your resources, you understand the skill set of team members. Some of you may be from science background. Some of you may come from engineering or other backgrounds, mathematics. You say, okay, who can help us do calculations? Who can help us do design? Who can help us do whatever, analysis and all of that. Once you do that, you distribute the work and then you start doing. As you keep doing, you keep checking whether you are following the timeline, the specifications, and of course, you work as a team. As you keep working as a team and keep monitoring, so that's where the systematics comes in. Okay, systematics. I define systematics in that my book as studying methods. Okay, when you want to do something, you sit down first and say, okay, how do I do this? And it fits into strategy as well. How do I achieve results? How do I win? Okay, of course, whenever there's deviations, you act and control that so that you stick to your plan. Just to also, as part of project management, that's why project management is very good. It integrates different disciplines, technical, sociology, psychology, and everything, just to make you aware that there are 5 stages of working in a team. Okay, you need to be aware of that. And this was proposed by Tuckman. So Tuckman said that when people come together to work as a team, the first thing that happens is that they enter into the forming phase. So in this forming phase, people struggle, they try to know each other. Of course, you've seen some names, you've heard some voices. So, you begin to know who is who, and then that's it. So the next phase in the project is storming. That's where people, engage in performing tasks. For me, one of the things I've noticed from experience is that
I was not speaking up.
The problem at times lies in method, in the process domain. What that means is that when people think differently, and because people think differently, they have different ways of doing things. So at the base of conflict in teams is a matter of process. We want to move from one end of a rectangle to the other end diagonally. Some people may say, okay, let's go up, left, and we'll get there. And some people say, no, let's go left and up, and we'll get there. Some people say, oh, let's just move diagonally, and we'll get there. Straight line. We don't need all this corner. Some people say, oh, no, let's just be zigzagging within the space, within the perimeter of the rectangle, and we'll get there. And when those people, when they are opinionated and they can't listen, they are not open to ideas, they will get stuck there. And at the end of the day, everybody goes home and they won't get to their destination. So to be a good team member, you need to listen to other people's ideas and ask questions. And your question is not opposing them or challenging them, but asking them to clarify how that their approach will help to achieve the common objectives. Because as a team, you have common objectives, that you are working together. However, after that initial challenges, people trying to show, that they also know how to do things and all of that, then you enter into the norming phase. At that phase, you now agree, okay, let's agree on how we are going to work together. Let's divide the tasks so that everybody will have autonomy. Let's do this, and then, they will start working. So after that stage, they will start performing. So what they will start performing, achieving results, meeting their objectives, and you'll be so shocked that a team that appeared to be quarreling initially, they now like each other. They would want to continue working with each other. Unfortunately, they will enter into the adjourning phase. And what happens? The project will end, and they don't have any option that to say goodbye. However, if the experience was very, very pleasant, they tend to stay longer. If the experience was very, very horrible, they will say, oh, thank God that this project has ended. At least I can have my life and go and do some other things. So it's important we are aware that things working in a team may not just be perfect. However, we just have to engage and be conscious of individual differences in the team and see how we can focus on the objective, always going back to say, what is it that we are trying to do and how can we do it effectively as a team? So Maslow's hierarchy of needs, people are in different stages. Maslow said that human beings, as we continue to grow and develop, we first of all focus on physiological needs, warmth, rest, water, and all of that. So we are conscious that people are at different stages of development. So what I want you to do in this project is to move from physiological needs where we are talking about what I will get, how much money I'm going to make from this project, how much of this and that. No, don't leave that level. Move up to self-actualization level, which is the peak of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That's where you express your creativity, express your talent. Okay, so I want you to jump from that fundamental basic. Let me ask you a question. Do you know why politicians rig election in Nigeria? It's because of this diagram. And do you know why many politicians are not interested in developing Nigerians or Africans? It's because of this diagram. And this diagram is telling you that when people just need water, food to survive, okay, they are not thinking of safety. That's why a tanker will fall at a bridge in Lagos. People are going to scoop crude oil. They know that if there is any spark, that it will burn everybody, even people nearby. But because they are still at the basic need, they are just looking for how to survive, they will go. Those who have met that need, let's say people who are working, they are earning money, they will start thinking of safety. That's why maybe when they are working at Kaduna and they live in Abuja, every morning they will take flight. They will take flight. They will say they don't want to be kidnapped on the road. So when somebody is secure, they have a good job, they start thinking of love and belonging. That's why they start talking about making friends, marrying, and contributing to network clubs and all of that. After that, you get to self-esteem needs, where you start talking about accomplishing things, writing books, philanthropy, and all of that. After that, before you start talking about self-actualization, which is where you express yourself, creativity. That's where you have freedom. Freedom to do things because you see value in them, not because you've been given money or because you think that somebody will praise you. No, you are in your own world, enjoying your life and enjoying yourself. And of course, after that, I've thought of also legacy, which is passing it to others. And I think that that is one of the things that Dialogic has done, which is about Dialogic is talking about how do we cause change, positive change in Africa, not just in Nigeria. How do we inspire younger generations? How do we produce products that can change lives and make life easier for people? And I hope you'll be part of that Dialogic vision. So this is teams management metrics. So think about this, list the activities you are going to do in your project, and then assign the tasks to each person. Please, this design and make challenge, for you to win and get certificate, you must contribute. So the team leader make sure that everybody is contributing. You must contribute something. That doesn't mean that everybody will contribute equally. It means that you just have to engage and contribute. So if you are not active, if your team wins, you will not benefit from anything. That's the principle. I talked about waterfall project management process. It's very linear. You just initiate the project, you plan, you execute, you monitor and control and close the project. That's it, very linear. And you use it when it is predictable, when the steps is predictable. A design thinking approach is somehow linear, but there are activities within it. This was developed by Stanford University, United States. So the first step, which you can think, I think I recommend you use design thinking for your project. The first thing is to empathize. When I mention whether you are designing for somebody in the village, if you're designing for somebody who is in the village, it's different from designing for somebody who is in the city. So you need to empathize. You're designing for somebody who has wealth. It's different from designing for somebody who is poor. So the empathy there is to understand the needs understand the challenges of the person who is going to use the product. That's where it starts. So once you understand the challenges through how they are finding it difficult to achieve purpose, achieve objectives, and you are designing to help them to achieve those purposes and objectives. So your design will now be situated in that context. So another thing is, once you do that, you can define the criteria, define the objectives, define the challenges, the pain point. Okay, so of course you need to feel. If you feel what they feel, then you can then start saying, oh, a typical person like this, how does it look? Let me use an example from what we've discussed so far to teach. We have a physics teacher who is so passionate about STEM, who is living in the village. He doesn't have access to electricity. He doesn't have access to internet. He doesn't have access to computer. And nobody has trained him. And we want him to be able to express that his talent and passion to impact the younger generation. How are we going to create the system? If we are to devise a product, we have an integrated system, something like an iPad or computer that can allow the man to connect to the internet and have access to resources across the globe and be able to charge that device and teach students in the village. How will that product look like? Are you getting what I'm saying? So you need to first of all empathize. So what I just said now is the ideation stage. You are now designing the technology, the device. You say, okay, let's not make it a desktop computer. Let's make it something like a tablet. Okay. So that the students, okay, how is the teacher going to project it to the wall? Okay, let's devise something that a projector where the teacher can connect the tablet to the projector and it will just be on the wall and students can see it. So you are ideating, then after ideating, you then prototype it. We can produce a prototype of this device and then take it to the village and ask the man, what do you think about this? Don't forget that you're going to interview most of those teachers in the village before you define, ideate, prototype, and test. And after testing, you then continuously improve the device. After that, you can then start mass producing the device and distribute to teachers. Federal government can give you grants and you produce and give to teachers. NGOs can buy and donate to schools. Okay, so that's the process, and I hope you adopt that model. So we've talked about lean thinking, which is about reducing costs, improving efficiency, and increasing value from products and processes or services. Let's talk about Agile. Agile methodology was developed by software engineers. So they were a group of software engineers, enthusiastic software engineers. They met and developed what they call Agile Manifesto. And some of us in IT or computer science, we know this very well. So what they say is that, okay, let's have our Agile Manifesto. And the manifesto says this: individuals and interactions are more valuable over processes and tools. So you focus on, you say, we are uncovering better ways of developing software by doing it and helping others to do it. Through this work, we have come to value individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Value working software over comprehensive documentation. Value customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Value responding to change over following plan. If you value those ones in green, you have an agile mindset, which means that you can create solutions in responsive and adaptable way. And that is what we want you to do. So that is why they focus on, working with people, interactions, how the system is creating value and how the system is integrated over just, oh, let's use a Gantt chart or let's use a computer. No, those are tools and processes. Those are not as important as understanding the interactions within the systems, within the teams, and all of that. It is not about spending time to write 20 pages of document of what you intend to do. Agile methodology say, do it and then document it. Get the results. Or get the results. As you are getting the results, you are documenting it. So comprehensive documentation of things that does not work doesn't make any meaning. It doesn't add any value. So customer collaboration, really making sure that those customers value what you are doing. And of course, responding to change, being adaptive. Don't say, oh, this is the plan and we are not going to change it. No, adapt. As new information are coming up, you change to achieve that. One of the things you should include in your report is Gantt charts. Okay, Gantt charts will help you to plan, and then you use a timeline for these projects to plan. Of course, you have access to the project brief. You meet as a team, develop your Gantt chart, and work in that order. So systems level domain-based thinking, integrating system. My statement on that is that you need to seek. Questelligence is a combination of questions and intelligence. And my notion of that is that the better you ask questions, the more intelligent you become. If I walk into a room and I will just watch how people are asking questions. There are some people that are very, very reserved, okay? But it's just like those days we are in Sunday school. And when somebody answers questions, somebody says, oh, that is what I wanted to say. That's what you wanted to say, but you did not say it. Part of the encouragement I'm giving to you people here today is that when you have an idea, put it out there. Get used to being rejected. Get used to being criticized. Get used to being blamed. But focus on delivering values. Focus on doing the right thing. Over time, people will get used to, in fact, they will be coming to you for solutions. When they have serious problems or complicated issues, when they think of who to meet, you'll be the one. So it's a different way of thinking. That's not the way we naturally think in Nigeria. But I want to tell you that if you think that way, if you think in systems, if you think in terms of value creation, if you think in terms of working as a team member, contributing, understanding how to acquire new skills and adapt and change and innovate and network and contribute to ecosystems, you are a different species. And I can tell you that it will keep taking you higher and higher. Okay, so seek valuable objectives of projects you should deliver. Engage with the stakeholders needed to co-create the objectives using reasoned and specific tailoring of project management processes, such as need assessment, initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, and control within agreed timelines and collaborative environments. So this statement combines the 7 domains of Questelligence. And I want to thank you for your attention and cooperation. And I want to believe that you are going to enjoy it if it is the kind of things you want. If it is not the kind of things you want, I want to beg you to hang on until this project will finish, because you might learn 1 or 2 things, and then you can zoom off if you are a more methodical person. Thank you so much. Do you have any question, maybe on what I presented to you or on the project? Do you have any question?
Sir, concerning the project, I want to ask, how will the grouping be done?
The grouping?
Yes.
The grouping has already been done. Are you not in any of the platforms? Are you in any of the platforms?
Which of the platform? This present one.
Are you in any WhatsApp group?
I'm in WhatsApp group, but I have not seen any group added that is related to this Dialogue Solution Limited.
Okay. Okay, so the thing is this. Dialogic Solutions Limited is the one sponsoring design and make